Does college matter? We've heard for years that Americans are losing faith in higher education institutions, but we wanted to find out the real truth. So we talked to 3,000 prospective students, and the results may surprise you. Hi, I'm Dayana Kibilds, Vice President of Strategy here at Ologie, a marketing and branding agency for forward-thinking organizations working toward a better future. We've all heard it. Americans are losing faith in higher education. And what's worse, we really believed it because the story is coming from data points that are true. But when you look behind the scenes and you really dig into the data, the reality is very different and the data is being misconstrued. It is true that Americans are losing faith in higher education institutions, but it's not higher ed alone. Americans are losing faith in institutions of all kinds, like the medical system and church and banks and the government. And in fact, higher education doesn't rank as low as we might think. Plus, it's not the same thing to say that Americans are losing confidence in higher education institutions than it is to say that they stopped seeing its value. The second thing we hear a lot is declining college enrollment. And while that might be true, we need to look closer at what's actually happening. And when we see the percentage of high school graduates choosing to enroll in college, that percentage actually peaked in 2009 and has been oscillating around 70% ever since. There is a minor drop in 2020, but we're not going to judge that year by its cover. Why are high school students still choosing to enroll in college? It's because they see its value. In fact, a majority of Gen Z students say that attending college is still very important or fairly important. And though we did only survey college-bound prospective students, we saw that their skepticism is a lot lower than we expected. 9 out of 10 students in our survey said higher ed is still a worthwhile investment. While we may see prospective students and their families losing confidence, we can't. It's time for higher ed marketers to be proud of what we do and really showcase the value of our institutions. It is true that the outcomes of higher education get overshadowed by a very intimidating sticker prize and very scary post-graduation debt. Working adults with master's degrees earn 20% more than those with just bachelor's degrees, and working adults with bachelor's degrees earn 59% more than those without a bachelor's degree at all. And this is a pattern that has held steady for decades. In our survey, 74% of students said that a college degree is the key to a long and successful career. But here's the thing, outcomes are a given, they are not a differentiator. Students choose higher education because of the outcomes, but they choose your institution based on affordability, academics, and wait for it, safety. When we asked students to rank what was important to them in choosing an institution, safety and financial aid or financials nearly tied, but still we were so surprised to find safety rank so high. While industry connections and career readiness ranked lower than we expected, it doesn't mean we shouldn't talk about it. It just means that that's a given. Of course, students expect good outcomes. And what really might differentiate you from another institution is the experience of how you get them there. So, since the data is showing that students care about academic quality and financials and safety, what's the natural thing for higher ed marketers to do? It's to tell them about our world-class professors, our great community of belonging, and our awesome financial aid, right? Wrong. The information students actually want is specific instead of generic and honest instead of overstated. We know because we asked them. What is something in higher education that you're tired of seeing and hearing? And this is what they told us. To show the students the value of our institutions, we have to get specific. When it comes to academics, being specific means talking about teaching. When we asked students to tell us how they assess academic quality, all the program-related factors came to the top, but the one at the very top is how great the faculty is at teaching. Most students ranked great educators as the most important factor when it comes to academic quality. When it comes to being specific about financials, It's really about debt and not aid. When students and their families are looking for financial information, it's not just about the cost of tuition. They're looking for the full picture. How much is it actually going to cost to attend? And more importantly, how much is my debt going to be when I graduate? So if you have a no loan policy, flaunt it. And if you don't, be really specific about how you help them manage their post-graduation debt. Most students ranked little to no debt after graduation as the most important factor when it comes to financials, even above overall cost and the total aid package. When it comes to being specific about safety, it's really about peace of mind. When we ask students to tell us what safety meant to them, factors such as being able to leave your laptop without fear of it getting stolen, or being able to walk at night without being afraid that something will happen, were the most important things that came to the top. So for them, it's really about physical safety. And in fact, it surprised us that physical safety ranked high when it comes to choosing a location to study, and the most important thing about the student experience as well. So if you are in a safe area, if your campus is in a safe area, talk about it. And if you're not, it's really important that you address the safety concerns of the families and you talk about the measures that you have in place. Finally, make sure you're known. We asked students to name the first university that came to mind. But most importantly, we asked them why that university came to mind. The top 2 reasons: how close you are or how famous you are. So if you're not nearby or you're not famous, it's really important for you to advertise. The University of Phoenix and Southern New Hampshire University showed up among the top mentions because of how much advertising they do. And the reason for this is we know prospective students are paying attention, and that increases even more if the student is a first-generation college-bound student. In short, here's the list of things to do to increase the perceived value of your institution and regain the trust of your prospective students. Number 1, if they're on the fence about higher ed, lead with your outcomes. If they're not on the fence about higher ed, then talk about your academic quality, your financials, and safety on your campus. When it comes to academics, remember, it's really about teaching. What are your professors like, and what experience do they bring into the classroom? When it comes to financials, it's not so much about tuition or even sticker prize, it's way more about that post-graduation debt. And when it comes to safety, remember, it's really about physical safety and peace of mind for the students actually living on your campus. And last but not least, if you're not yet known where you want to be known, then advertise. The fact is, higher education is still very much worth it, and your students do not need convincing of that. It's well within your power to take the narrative back about higher ed's value.